Good morning, my fellow RPG players. Today we will be doing a lyric breakdown of my most recent single, Tides of Life, while walking around the city. Let's go. Alright, so at the very beginning we have an Alan Watts sample. Palm Tree Dan is the producer who made the beat, and when I first heard it, it just sounded like some underwater, like aquatic Atlantis type shit. So I was like, okay, let me look up a water quote or speech to put, and I thought it fit pretty well. And then we have me singing a beautiful symphonic chorus gospel intro. I think I said "to be loved" because I was trying to copy Rhapsody from, I forget the exact name of the song. It's from the album Layla's Wisdom. It's the intro. It's just, oh my God, it's so beautiful. But I sang something similar because that's what it inspired me to do. And then we have verse 1. Okay, the tides of life, they ebb and flow like LFOs and metronomes. So it's talking about the ebb and flow of life, obviously. Most of you guys know what a metronome is, the thing that swings back and forth that has a clicking sound when you're doing music. But then also LFOs stands for low frequency oscillator. Basically, it's an effect used when creating music that creates an oscillation like a wave, emphasizing the whole ebb and flow, tides of life type thing. Back and forth, just like my bow back in orchestra sectionals. Again, defining the whole back and forth wave aspect. Orchestra sectionals, references to when I used to play violin back in middle school and high school. And whenever you would break up into your individual instrument groups and only practice your individual parts, so you have violins with violins, violas with violas, cellos, etc., we would call those sectionals. So I was just giving another imagery example of the back and forth aspect. So my bow, when I was playing violin, the back and forth, along with the LFOs and the metronomes, so on and so forth, it all ties together. What else? What goes up must come back down, and what goes around comes around. I know my seeds will see the sun because they started off underground. Damn, I haven't really broke this song down to myself until now. I low-key wrote this in an amazing way. I'm kind of proud of myself. So again, emphasizing the whole back and forth aspect of life, up, down, what goes around comes around with karma. And then I know my seeds will see the sun because they started off underground. Understanding the laws of the universe and how like, okay, winners will always win. That's just a natural rule of laws. Like you can say it's wrong all you want, but it's just kind of reality. So it's the same thing with like, if I take the time to plant my seeds properly, water them underground, theoretically, it should eventually, as long as you just do it long enough, eventually some shit's gonna work. So it's like acknowledging that I did things the harder way, but it's gonna be worth it in the end, kind of thing. Yo, y'all ever think about what people in the 30s would think of people talking to their phones in public and riding electric scooters with helmets and button-up t-shirts? Look at the world we live in. It's just so weird, dude. Whatever. Shout out to God for making it. All right, my arm is tired. I gotta use my other arm. What's next? Off these CDs full of sounds, RPG is what I found to inspire growth. Because that's the whole point of RPG, right? Real personal growth. So, in hopes that one day we'll both be renowned by the man in the mirror, never in fear that he's inferior. So it's this idea of self-acceptance, basically. With RPG, obviously the personal aspect being that at the end of the day, no matter what you decide to do, you're the one that has to look at yourself in the mirror when you're 85 years old and be like, oh damn, I can actually be proud of the life that I've lived. And I can look back and be like, fuck it, I did my best, I'm happy, blah. Or fulfilled rather is a better emotion to shoot for than happiness, I guess. But that's the whole point of trying to grow into like the most expansive version of yourself that you can achieve through the physical realm while you're on earth until you eventually go to heaven. And when I say both, I mean me and you. Both me writing this song and you, the listener, listening to the song and watching this video. Because obviously, if I only cared about my personal growth, I wouldn't really post this stuff and like embarrass myself walking around in public talking to a camera. But I do it for us, together. RPG, the army, the players. All right, what's next? Never in fear that he's inferior. Obviously, you're gonna doubt yourself at times. You're never gonna be 100% sure of everything, because if you were, that'd be boring. But just never being genuinely fearful that you're inferior. Because one, who are you comparing yourself to? Two, if it's within your control, then it's only temporary until you decide to do something about it. And all you have to do is do something about it. There's nothing to it but to do it. Finally found my drive, now I'm working on the interior. So that's just like a little mini car reference. I finally found the drive to actually do this shit. But now I'm just working on cleaning up the inside of my head. Slowly sweeping, oh, here, car's about to hit me. Slowly sweeping out the dust of the cupboards, cleaning out the cobwebs, just trying to get a clear-headed mind so you can really picture and envision what you want to do. All right, cool, now onto the hook. This is what happens when discipline action meets infinite passion. I'm still in the same condition, but this is a different reaction. It was a very straightforward hook. It kind of just means what it says, but it's meaningful to me just because of how often I get caught in the same cycles and thought loops about certain things. So Alex Hormozy, for example, has a quote that says, intelligence can be defined by how quickly you change your behavior when given the same scenario, but you know what the better option is. So for example, if I hold up a red card and then I slap you, then I wait a couple seconds, and then I hold up a red card again, and then I slap you, and then I wait a couple seconds, and then I hold up a red card again, and then I try to slap you, but this time you duck, your intelligence can be graded based on how long it took you until you finally realized the pattern and was like, oh, every time he holds up a red card, he slaps me, so I'm gonna duck. If it takes someone 10 tries versus someone who takes 2 tries, the 2 tries person in general is probably smarter. So the idea is, I'm in the same condition as I've been for the past 7 years since I started to make music. I'm still like, haven't made it yet, still not really financially stable, blah, blah, blah. But I'm having a different reaction to it versus being all woe is me ass nigga about it. But the point being, like, I don't know, I just feel like after doing 75 hard, even though I didn't complete it, I know, 68 days, do me, fuck it. But still, it had an impact. And just slowly shaping my mindset, slowly clearing out a lot of the old bad habits and shit like that, just getting a little bit closer to who you want to be. It feels good. So, discipline, action, infinite passion. Finally put the 2 together and get some cool shit. What's next? Verse 2. Why do I complain when I know that I'm not the only one growing through some things? You know you reap what you sowed upon. You know how you just be complaining about some shit? You just be mad about some shit? You don't even know why you're actually mad about it. You just like, yo, I'm upset right now, and I'm upset about the fact that I'm upset, because there's no reason to be mad right now. I feel like an idiot, you know what I mean? So that's the idea behind that. It's weird how you can be fully logically conscious of your emotions being stupid, but you still have to feel your emotions at the same time. You're never above your programming. It's interesting how that works. So it seems insane, these emotions, I'm actually holding on. Life is like a game trying to capture moments like Pokemon. In order to capture the things that you really want, like beautiful moments, like love, like peace, like fulfillment, all that shit, you have to let go of all the things that are really hard to let go of. Resentment and anger and disappointment and regret and yada yada, the list goes on. So that was just my little take on it. At the end of the day, you can't take anything with you when you die, so it's like all we're really capturing is moments, because no one's gonna know except for us. We're the creators of our own consciousness type thing, us and God, obviously. And so, I don't know, spending less time being upset about the natural course of life. And when you're growing through things, everyone's going through some shit. Getting upset about it is just wasting time when you could be capturing moments like Pokemon. But in real life, you only get one chance to catch a Groudon. Now, I know it's kind of a silly bar, but just to intertwine with the Pokemon thing, I think that's kind of fun, right? Like, in the actual Pokemon series, Ash is fucking 10 years old for 25 fucking years, or however long it's been. In real life, you don't get that shit, bro. You get to be 10 years old for 365 days. That's it. And then you can never be 10 years old again, right? Or in the context of life, you get to be alive once and then you never get to be alive again. So if there's a fucking, I don't know, summer solstice equinox fucking lunar thingy, and it only happens once every 200 years and I happen to be alive while it happens, that's a Groudon. That's a moment that cannot be bought, sold, traded, or changed. You captured it or you didn't. That's kind of the duality of RPG as well, since it's very video game based and themed, but the whole point is to flip that into real life. And that's kind of a bar, I think, that represents that very well, even if it's a cheeky Pokemon bar. Ooh, this looks cool behind me. Won't be long till you realize what you're missing out on. I'm closing the gap between who I am and who I could be. Reaching for the sky, word to Woody. This is where it gets difficult because it's kind of a lot of bars that intertwine with each other, right? So reaching for the sky, word to Woody, Allen, wrenches in my hoodie. You have Woody Allen, you have Woody from Toy Story, but then you also have Allen Wrench, which is like you have screws loose. So it's kind of like a weird, it was an homage to, what's his name, Ilmac. He did something similar where he would take his battle rap series and mix it with more of a melodic, lyrical style, and he would have words that basically all made sense if you were to take one less word from the beginning of the sentence. And it created a cool poem-like effect. So I was doing something kind of similar and just having fun with it and letting it, you know. A car wash? You ain't got Google? I don't know, man. I hate to be an asshole, but at the same time, it's like, why? He looked like the actor from The Bear, from, what's that family called? Shameless? He kind of looked like him. Anyways, why am I such an asshole? I could have just been nice. That's fucked up too, as someone who's a proponent of real life, just being like, you ain't got Google. The whole point of asking a human is to get a human interaction, but I genuinely did not know, so sorry, brother. Anyways, Reach for the Sky, words of Woody from Toy Story. Woody Allen created a movie that will then be referenced coming up, so just remember Woody Allen. And then Allen wrenches to tighten up the screws that are loose inside of my head. I know it sounds weird, but it just sounds cool. That's why sometimes you can't break shit down. You gotta just enjoy it for what it is, but just know that there was thought put behind it. It's midnight in Paris, I penned a poem to the troops. So this is where it all comes together if you understood everything, but it's a bunch of different niche references put together. So it's Woody Allen who made a movie called Midnight in Paris, and the main character's, his last name is Pender. His name is Gil Pender. So the point of the scheme is to be like, Woody Allen, Midnight in Paris, penned a poem. Gil Pender, the character in the story, was also a writer. So it all ties together, but it's very loose little pieces. I love shit like that personally. I think it's cool because most people are obviously not gonna know the reference, but for the few people that do, it's like, wow, that tiny attention to detail really added to the whole thing. So if I die before I wake, don't hesitate to storm the gates. The cost of authenticity is that you can't afford to fake, especially when there's more at stake than just your pride. So it's this idea of, again, just painting pictures, right? You have the image of this guy, I don't know, maybe he's like some, what's that nigga from Game of Thrones, from Jon Snow? Leading the Northern Army, you feel me? If I die before I wake, don't hesitate to storm the gates. Y'all better go after that shit. I might not be alive tomorrow. Maybe I get assassinated, maybe I get poisoned, who knows? But I'm leading this army, I'm leading this charge of RPG, and I'm letting y'all know, like, bro, I'm focusing on me, I'm tightening the screws up in my head, and I'm trying to get my shit together. At the same time, war doesn't stop for anybody. We're all going at spiritual warfare out here, so if I die before I wake, don't hesitate to storm the gates. And you gotta think about it too, every song I'm doing this, I'm inspiring you guys more, I'm trying to lift you guys up more, so I'm penning these poems, I'm writing these songs to give you this feeling of this leadership, of this charge, of this energy, of this, whatever you wanna call it, right? The cost of authenticity is that you can't afford to fake, especially when there's more at stake than just your pride. I thought that was a really clever bar. You can't afford to fake it sometimes. I've been in so many situations where it would have been so much easier if I just bit my tongue and but I can't do that. I'm not good at it. And there's more at stake than just your pride. So just not to get lost in it. It basically just means don't get lost in this whole idea of the ego and letting your pride get in the way of just killing all potential fruitful fulfillment. So don't be afraid to shine your light. Let them adjust their eyes. Simple, but I love that line. See, look, right as I say that. And if they make fun of you, fuck it. That's fuel to survive. There's no such thing as justice, just actions that get justified. This idea that there is no inherent moral outside of the Bible and Jesus and God, but we don't live in a world where that's upheld 100%, right? We have a mixture of a lot of different philosophies, and whatever gets argued the best, whatever people can understand the best, whatever makes the most sense is what's gonna be put into action, is what's gonna be justified, is what people are gonna fight for, is what they're gonna say, oh, this is normal, this is what we can consider normal. It's not about what's actually right, it's about what makes the most sense. I don't know, I think it just ties everything on a bow. It's a very painting, I'm just expressing my idea in a very poetic fashion about the tides of life and how interesting these little different corners of my brain are. And maybe you'll resonate with some of the shit that was in it. Maybe you won't. But that was the lyric breakdown of Tides of Life. Brand new single, just came out yesterday. So if you haven't listened to it already, make sure you go ahead and listen to it. And if you have already listened to it, let me know what your favorite part is. I'm genuinely curious. I'm trying to get better at figuring out what the best parts of my song are so I can put snippets on TikTok and ads. And it really help a lot. So listen to it, let me know your favorite part, and stay tuned for more. And remember, we've got a long way to grow. Peace.